What up? What
What
up?
up? Chilling. What's
Good,
going on?
good.
Yeah, I'm chilling. Man. I can't call it.
What up?
Yeah. Trying to
Yeah.
check this connection right here.
Okay.
What's
Okay.
going on with you though?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that you know the the link is sent out. I know this thing be tripping sometimes. It'll show like 4 people watching, but at the end of the night, it'll show like 250 views. It's weird, you know. So just trying to make sure that our people, you know, can check it out. You know,
Yeah, I gotta call Paul, man. Right.
Paul.
Yeah. Hey, right, that's his name, right? With the Cartagena, right?
Oh, my cousin. Yeah, yeah, Big Paul.
Yeah, I gotta call him. Yeah, man. I was meant
Yeah,
to call him the other day, then I
yeah,
forgot all
yeah,
about it. I was just
yeah.
thinking about it.
Big
The
Paul.
dynamic duo. What's up,
Oh,
Tempest? Huh?
for tonight, as of now, it's the
What's up?
dynamic duo.
That's right. The
Some people ask
dynamic
us like,
duo.
"Yo, where's the tray? Where's the tray?" And, right now you got the two. You know. So what's up, Tempest? What's up, Christina? What's up,
Mm,
Kristen? Love
excuse
is
me.
love. Love is love. Thank you all for joining us. You
What's up?
know, whoever's out there watching
Hmm.
us, what's up? What's up? What's up? You know. Now remember, when we doing this, when we on live, like y'all can always, chime in. You could write into the comments. Every blue moon, if you just want to hop on for a few minutes and share your opinions and everything else, and we welcome it. We don't mind. We don't care. We don't
What's
mind.
up?
Just make sure y'all keep Charles awake, man. Y'all keep Charles falling asleep. We doing something for him.
No, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm up.
Yeah, if you come on and Charles starts doing one of these, I
Yeah.
don't know if you're a good guest.
Yeah. Nah. I'm listening.
Charles be like,
Yeah. Nah, I was listening. though.
yo,
Definitely.
y'all keep it 100. I don't think you've ever not responded in time like you were with us. But
Yeah.
Charles is a real thing, man. That's a real it happens.
Yeah.
How you doing, Lee? What's up? What's up? What's up? Jenny, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
I'm up.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we got to make sure Charles stays up tonight. Because but he said he's good, so I think
Yeah.
we
No,
good to
I'm
go.
good.
I think
Yeah.
we good to go. Yeah, man. First off, I want to say, last week, we did the show with Big D. A lot of people hit me up on that show. You know what I mean? And listen, I have never said that I'm not loud and boisterous at times. I can be quite loud and quite loud. But I don't always think I'm right. So let me please say that for the record. Actually, I know I'm not always right. I make a lot of mistakes. But I listen. And sometimes I could be a stubborn dude too, but I'm not a stubborn person. So that's all I want to say, because I think some people saw me and they thought that I was a little bit more animated, and I'm like, that's actually me. Like that's legitimately me. But I was glad that Big D came on. And it was a heavy topic. And, sometimes you get to see brothers speaking with passion. And it happens. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Definitely.
uh, if he was on right now,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's cold. Stop messing with Big D.
He looking for somebody to take R.J. Barrett off the Knicks' hand. That's what he looking
Oh, he
for
don't
right
want him up
now.
there. Ready for him to go? You want him to go?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
The other day he wrote a comment that I actually agree with. He was like, no matter how far the Knicks go, that if they traded Julius Randle and they traded R.J. Barrett, I would be okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be okay with that too.
Okay. I gotta catch up, man. I'm sort of a lazy Nick fan because they let me down so many times over the years, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know
What's
if I
up,
can.
Walt G? Peace.
Oh man, what's good, Walt? Peace, peace. That's my family right there. All right, all right, all
No
right.
doubt.
Keish, what's going on? Keisha with the Y, the hip hop arm is up in here. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. What's up?
Yeah,
What's up? And now, Keisha with the Y, if you get some time and you want to jump on,
no doubt.
that's our straight to tape family. And we actually, without jumping too far ahead, she had a very, live post on her page today dealing with the situation with the substitute teacher and the student. And there was a lot of back and forth dialogue with a lot of people because people are polarized right now. You know what I'm saying? By
He
what they
says, shoot her the link.
Say no more. Here it comes. And it was a heavy conversation. And on my page, I sort of threw it out there because I was reading, on different people's pages, and it started to bubble. So we are definitely going to talk about that. The teachers on live now. Oh shoot, what's up, Kelly? What's up, Kelly? Yo, I saw
The teachers on live now.
Oh wow. Well, I put on my page the live that was sent to me about 45 minutes ago, so I don't know if that's the same one. And I'll try to figure out a way to play it,
Can you is there a way for you to show the original video?
Yeah, I can. Well, what I can do really quick is I can do like a screenshot really quick and then like sort of upload it really quick. You know what I mean? And and we could try it that way. And back to Walt family. Thank you for joining us and hanging out with us. That's because everybody on here, we all a part of the same show. So make no mistakes about it. It's really tonight is Dev, Charles, and family. So everybody that's up there, we all in this together. I'm about to send Keish this link, and I'm also going to
send it a link.
Yeah, but while we getting Keish on, you saw what happened with the young man Ralph Yard. That situation with
in Kansas City.
Yeah. Thoughts?
Yo, it's rough, kid.
Yeah.
My thoughts is mixed on that, which is crazy.
What?
But
what do you mean? What you mean your thoughts is mixed?
No. I'm saying this is what I'm saying, right? Yo, first when I saw this dude, the dude looked like he blind, right? Yo, he looked like he could barely see. I don't know.
Yo, I'm messing.
Yeah.
I'm just upset about it, bro.
So I think definitely I think he should be arrested or whatever. I don't know, like I feel like it's just crazy the climate that's created that even makes a young black dude like that for anybody to even be afraid or to do something like that. But it's just hard for me to think like an 84-year-old dude, what was his mind? How was his mind processing? He barely could see anything. And then like even though it was crazy, like they saying that he wasn't like I read somewhere where it was like he tried to say like he saw somebody like tugging at his door, and somebody else like other witnesses was saying like that it didn't happen like that. He just shot, so I don't know, like it's just crazy to me that no matter which way you looked at it, it was just crazy to me that it would just be a instantaneous like shoot. You know what I'm saying? Because even if someone was tugging at your door trying to break in, you were not in like an immediate danger like that. Like you had to shoot instantaneously like that. But it's just like with the way the country is, like just the climate, like is you just a crazy 84-year-old white racist dude or have like the image of a young black man being like that crazy that like you're 84-year-old motherfucker, like afraid of just your presence. You know what I'm saying, man? Because of what it's like, yo, like just because of what you've been told and fed and fed and fed and fed, it's like, you know, like, so I'm not saying that like I could see him shooting him. Like, I don't think he should have shot anybody because I don't think that situation called for anybody to be shot. You know what I'm saying? But did he just do it because it was a black kid? Or did he do it because he's an old ass half, looked like he could barely see old white man that just his whole life been made to fear black people too? It's like it's just crazy that like
what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know, because I really haven't read his background, which would give me more insight to like maybe how he thinks or whatever. So I looked at the young dude. I read a little bit about his background. The dude that got arrested, the only thing I really heard was he was saying that the you know, like he saw this kid tugging at his door, like he was trying to break in or something, you know. But the young man, the kid said that he never did that, right? So yo, that's gonna always be debated. I mean, whether regardless of who you believe or not, if it's only two people, you touch the door, no, you didn't touch the door, you touched the door, unless you got a Ring camera there, which if this 84-year-old man living by himself or whatever, she probably don't even got no Ring. Like, that's gonna always be like, yo, you said you didn't touch it. He said, it's like something that's never gonna be provable. It's just whose side you believe. You know what I'm saying? And
where's your normal talk about what does the law say? What is it? That's
that's what I'm saying. So I don't agree. So this is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, but you might not be able to get a good you know, you might be able to get the fingerprints off the door to prove whether you touched the door or not. You might not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't care.
You never know. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that situation called for anyone to get shot, regardless of whether he did it racially or, I mean, if he did it racially, obviously that. But I mean, even if he legitimately feared, I don't think that standing behind a door, a person has not entered into your thing yet. Like, I could see you with a gun, like, hey, what are you doing? Get away from my door. But to just like almost just pull out, just bang, shoot. I don't think that. That's. I mean, that stand your ground law is going to come out crazy. That Missouri has, just like that, how it turned out crazy in Florida. But without a stand the ground law, I can't see how anybody could legally justify having shot somebody like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, two things. One, I'm gonna make a quick statement, and I'm definitely gonna bring Keisha with the Y, the hip hop mom from Straight to Tape, up on here, so she could probably take on part of this subject too. 84 years. How many other doors has he shot through?
Yeah.
84 years. And when I saw his mugshot, my brother was like, yeah, he looked like a racist. And I mean, you know, I wasn't looking for Confederate flags and skull and bones and swastikas and all that other crap. I'm sick. I'm so sick of everyone being able to do what they want to do to our children with all of the BS excuses. Not saying that this isn't to you. This is just me reading online. I'm sick of it. There's nothing in that young man's background that they couldn't even dirty wash him. They couldn't touch him. So my thing is, the code is we should be on point with him. Like, yo, all of us should be rocking with it, period. And if he's 84, hit him with the charges, let him live to 184 behind bars, because you don't do that. He ain't shot no damn mailman. He ain't shot his neighbor, maybe knocking on the door for some damn sugar. It's just, it's free reign with our children. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it to the point where it's like, you know, people say an eye for an eye. I'm like, nah, a door for a door. That's how sick of it I am. because we don't make that mistake. When have you seen one of our people shoot through the door at 84 years old at a white person? Give me any case in the history that we've been on this earth and they just shot through the door at a white person, but they shot through the door and killed their little bumpers. Totally different situation. But she was a senior, and the cops shot through the door and killed her. Everybody shooting through the doors, but we the only one dying.
Yeah, but part of that also, son, is the reality is we have a whole different type of mentality with weapons than they have with weapons.
Before you even get going,
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's get the hip hop mom up in here, and we're gonna introduce our friend, our cousin show, Keisha with the Y, the hip hop mom.
What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
It's an honor to have you up here.
It's echoing.
It's
echoing.
The first time with us.
It is. It's echoing.
I don't hear echo. You echo? First off, their show is like so well put together. They all be having all this stuff, the sound stuff.
Yeah.
Hold on.
No, I don't hear no echo. You hear echo?
Better?
No, now I don't.
I don't hear an echo.
Yeah.
I turned on the echo. I turned on the echo.
He's audio Charles, so he might have something else going on over
there. But thanks for having
me. I heard myself echo than you, but now it like cleared.
Yeah, I selected the echo cancellation in the settings, so I think it should be
okay.
Good.
Yeah,
welcome,
definitely.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Now we're talking about the situation with the young brother.
The man who looks like his face is melting off. Yeah.
Oh,
I think your brother was right. Like, he definitely looks like a racist, and I don't know. Like you, I don't know anything else about the situation. Right. On his side. His camp has said nothing. I did read that his neighbors helped him clean up the glass. A lot of the reason why they couldn't charge him with attempted murder was because the crime scene had been trampled over. Like, they didn't charge him for days. So in Missouri, you can only hold someone for 24 hours. And if you act 24 hours, you either have to charge them or let them go. They let him go. To gather more evidence, my assumption is they waited for Ralph to wake up and hear his side of the story. But this young man had to travel to, I actually saw the neighbor that helped him this morning, and I misspoke on my show last night. So he gets shot twice by the 84-year-old man. He is able to, by God, get up and walk to 3 houses trying to get help. At the 3rd house, the person told him to get on the ground.
What do you mean?
And so then to get on the ground with his hands raised. And then this 4th person, the guy that was on the news, sat with him. People had already called 911, is my assumption, and waited with him for 911 to come. So it seems to me like this part of this area might not be the best for people that look like us to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all based on circumstantial evidence. But
yeah. Because as soon as you said what you said a second ago, I'm like, oh, so the whole neighborhood is just one of them places you just don't run through like the brother did down in South Carolina and just look at the house. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what does a racist look like? Pull up his picture. To me, that's what a racist looks like. Now, mind you, maybe that's not what a racist looks like, but yeah, that's to me what a racist looks like. He shot a 16-year-old in the head.
We live in the South, maybe.
I would like to see, because that's what I found. I was like, man, like nothing came out like really about this dude's background or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but why is this even a question?
Yeah.
Have you never gone and opened the wrong car door? I drive a black Honda. Have you never accidentally pulled into the wrong driveway? He did not commit a crime. It doesn't matter whether his fucking fingerprints are on the door or not. This man shot him through his door and then shot him again once he fell to the ground. It doesn't matter whether he tried to open the door or not. The outside
Except in
door.
Missouri, under the law, that's what makes it crazy.
It's a
But that's what
castle
the
doctrine state.
stand, and then they have that stand your ground law, so you don't have no duty to retreat, like most self-defense requires that you have to be out of a way to retreat. So the stand the ground law. So if you're like, that's what's crazy. That's why they probably couldn't charge him in the beginning. They was under. Like, think of this story. Like, I'm just saying, think of you hearing this story. I saw a young black dude at my door looking like he was trying to open it, so I shot. Like, in a state that has a stand, listen to this, right? In a state that has a stand your ground law, so the only evidence you have at that moment is that this young man was shot on your property. And my story as the property owner is he was not supposed to be on my property, and he was at my door yanking it like he was trying to break in, and I shot him. Like, at that moment, that's all you know. In a state where doing something like that is legal, what's your next step?
As a prosecutor?
What do you no, as a cop, what's your next step? What could you do right at that stage right there?
I still believe in stand your ground states. They still have to be arrested. They don't just get to shoot somebody and walk free. It's happened several times. But
it's how you hear the evidence, though. It's how the
cop doesn't get to determine the evidence. The cop gets there and someone has been shot, and that's the person that shot them. They have to go through the whole court thing to determine whether.
Not necessarily, not at all. They first of all, the exact opposite has to occur. They have to establish that a crime occurred, and just someone being shot in and of itself, especially in a state which stands your ground, is not evidence automatically that a crime has occurred, because I can legally shoot you. So it ain't a cop just supposed to automatically arrest me. Actually, he's supposed to do the exact opposite. He's not supposed to arrest me. Maybe the law is different in North
Carolina, because
I'm sorry, go ahead. Keisha,
there are a couple of cases in North Carolina where similar things happen. Like, I think a guy shot another guy that was accidentally turned into his driveway, shot and killed him. And we do have a similar law, stand your ground, castle doctrine law in North Carolina, and they had to go to court. He had to go to court.
Because, and that's probably 100% true. I think it's definitely 100% true you saying it. But what I'm saying is, because they could have determined that from the evidence that's in front of me right now, this doesn't meet the stand the ground, so I'm arresting you for shooting this person. Another cop could hear evidence and say, I don't know if probable cause exists that he really committed a crime yet. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's almost discretionary right there. You know, whether the cop is going to handcuff you or not. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. That's how the law works. Forget how we feel about it. That's how the law is going to work with it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I rocks with you, and that's why I asked you about the law earlier. But me and you sometimes bump heads as far as the law. It's been legal to kill us from the time they came over here and started shipping us over here, even though people were here. It's always been legal to turn a blind eye to our death, to our passion. I mean, it's not passion, excuse me, to our presence. And I'm saying, like, that can't fly. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those situations where I'm telling you, like.
But it literally is exactly what makes it fly, is that the law be on against us. The law that you saying that I'm talking about is literally what allows it to fly.
Yes, but this is part of the reason why the Sean Kings of the world, I support them. This is part of the reason why people who are willing to use their voice and trumpet for us, I support them. This is why I send money. When those GoFundMes go, I send money all the time, because you know how I feel. I'm like, weaponize our money to help us. You know what I'm saying? In situations like this. Right. So ultimately, the dude being charged, okay, we're gonna see what happens. But we can't turn blind eyes to this. Like, as a society, like as people who are affected by this, we can't turn blind eyes.
Right.
That's
And
just
it took
that's
days and social media viral
Yeah.
posts and outrage for this to get picked up by the local news.
Yeah. Because
You know, I love a
nobody, I
good
don't
I
think
love
people
a
are
good
turning a
comment.
blind eye to it.
Hold on.
No,
What was you saying?
they were not the people weren't turning a blind eye, but
Yeah.
it took days. This is a black boy getting shot by an old white man. It
Mhm.
took days for the news to pick the local news to pick this up. And then of course, when the local news and the viral post and stuff started
If Sean
bubbling,
King didn't post
Mhm.
it, I doubt it
exactly.
would have got the legs. I'm just being honest.
I believe in what Sean King is doing. I think sometimes he's a little verbose, but it's intentional, you know. But that's just not my type of hype. But he did say he knows several people in several news outlets, and they pick up the story because directly from him, and didn't give him credit for it, but they picked it up directly from him.
Mhm.
Really quick, Steve, John Champion, who else has jumped in with us? There's a few other people. Perry, you know, welcome. You know, we're up here kicking it. We got the hip hop mom on here tonight, our special guest of, as I say, our cousin show, Straight to Tape. So, you know, right now we're just tackling what took place with the young man, Ralph Yaw, and the 84-year-old man. It looks like a racist to my brother. And once he said it, I looked and was like, yeah, he does look like a racist. Don't mind me. I'm being petty, but I'm dead ass serious. Question. What about the situation that happened in upstate New York with the young lady, Kaylin Gillis, the 20-year-old that was shot?
Oh, that got picked right up. That got picked right up like the next morning. Similar situation.
Yeah, but I didn't. Honestly, I wondered. You know what I said to myself? I wondered if I would have heard about that if I didn't hear about the Kansas City joint. That's what I would put to myself.
True.
That's a good point.
True.
That's
Right.
a good
Yep.
one.
Yep. Yep. It's part
That's
of
a
the
good
news
one.
cycle now, right?
But
Yeah,
you know,
because I don't think that. Honestly, I don't think I don't think an upstate shooting like that between a white man and a white female. I don't even know if that would have got picked up. I think it's because of this one that was circulating and that one. But you see, New York didn't play no games with that. Automatically, this dude is locked up, arrested, and denied bail.
Right.
We're not listening to that, but that's a different. The being at the wrong address is the only similarities in that case.
Right. Yeah. There was another one too.
Dallas?
2 cheerleaders accidentally opened the wrong car door in a parking lot, and one was grazed by the bullet, and the browner one. No, she's not dead.
Oh,
I don't think she's dead. She got shot in her spleen was damaged. She got shot twice.
Wait, you said the browner one. So was it a black and a white cheerleader? Oh, I didn't even know there was.
They accidentally. It was like they thought it was their car. They opened the door, and the person shot them. Listen, the world's going to hell right now. They got free range kids running around in Chicago. Like I just.
But what do you feel about that?
But I got my
what
head
do you feel about the shooter?
The shooter in the car.
You heard what I said? Yeah, that shot the 2 people that opened his car door.
I don't know anything else about that situation other than that. But that shit happens. Yeah, I've literally gone to the wrong car and opened the door because the person didn't lock their door.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that happens, and people about everything. People are so on edge now.
Yeah.
I do believe that people should be able to have firearms to protect themselves.
Agreed.
But something's got to give, and I don't know a solution to it. People are just on edge. Like, what is that man? The man that shot Ralph Yaw, does he not get any packages? Like, does he not get Amazon or a mailbox for Christmas and shit?
Hey, Keish.
He ain't got nobody to come to his house. Like, he don't get plumbers and shit to come to his house.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Everybody's just so on edge, and a lot of it centers around Black people. Mm-hmm. And I
Now,
mean,
let me
I
ask you a
understand
question.
why, but I can't. You can't call
Welcome,
nobody a
Daniel.
racist these days without proof. But you know,
Yeah. But that's what I was gonna say. So, like, because I don't know. I only heard where he said the dude was pulling on the door. The dude. Then I heard where the kid said he wasn't pulling on the door. Right. So let me ask you, if if you if the kid wasn't pulling on the door, what do you think? Like you said, because I'm thinking, maybe just think of it because you said Amazon and all that. What do you think alerted him that the kid was either on his front porch?
the kid was going to get his siblings. He probably knocked on the door, rang the doorbell.
Yo,
Oh,
yo,
okay.
honestly,
And
I
then,
know,
like in most neighborhoods,
right.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say y'all grew up in the hood, but I did not grow up in the hood. So if you have friends, if you frequent a house, you give a quick knock. If they're especially if they're expecting you, you give a quick knock and you open the door and you walk in. Like it's different where y'all come from, probably. But in here, I like go to my friend's house, or they would come over to my parents' house. And if we're having something or we're expecting traffic, the door is open. You just knock and let them know you're there, and you open the door and you go in. He was on 115th Terrace. He was supposed to be on 115th Street or vice versa. It was an honest fucking mistake. And he is near death and has a long road to recovery. That shit makes no sense to me. None.
Can I chime into what you just said a second ago? Broad daylight, right? So this child is smart enough to play instruments, smart enough to be noted in his environment, but all of a sudden in broad daylight, he's gonna be dumb enough, pardon me, because I don't think he's dumb, to just start jingling a door and all of a sudden get shot. I want y'all to think about something.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, I don't even know the timeline, but just given what they're stating, there's something at the door and he's shot.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that homie didn't see that young man walking up the drive. You can't tell me. I'm not buying nothing that dude said. He saw.
But that's what I just said. But that's what. Hold on. That's what my question just was. I said, what you think alerted him that the kid was there?
Yeah, you asked her.
He stayed looking out the window.
I'm a double
crotchety old man.
I don't care what nobody tells me in that neighborhood. They all know what's going on, from the left to the right, up or to down. Just based on what Keisha described a minute ago, they all know what's going on. They all knew enough to know what's going on to trample a crime scene, clean up glass. They on code for what they know. They on code. They was moving as a unit. But there's no reason, even if the young man went and made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Show me in any hood in America where people are shooting through the doors because somebody knocked and made a mistake.
I had mentally unstable neighbor.
Okay.
He's moved away now, but he had a cognitive brain disorder, and it caused paranoia. And for the first couple of years that I lived in his house, I could see it progressively getting worse, to the point where he was leaving computers on my front doorstep. He was stopping my kids as they were trying to drive away and leave for work, saying we were hacked his internet, shit like that. It was getting scary. I called the cops several times, but it really was nothing that they could do because he hadn't done anything. Went got my gun permit, settled all of that. One day he comes here and knocks on the door. I open the door. My pane glass door is closed, and he is literally trying to pull my door open.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up my phone to call the police, and then he walked away. I didn't shoot him. He actually was trying to get in my house. He was trying to get into my house. I told him away, and I keep a little bat by the door. I told him away. I picked up my bat, but I didn't fire a gun through my glass door. or reach outside of while the man's on the ground and shoot him again, that's a problem. That is not stand your ground.
But you also knew him.
Yeah, but yeah.
No, hold on.
Yeah,
no, but you knew, but the person at your door. Now, I'm not saying that this dude is that. What I'm saying is
the person at my door that I had called the police on twice before. Yes, I knew him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew him.
That's who you're talking about.
Yeah, but think about it.
I called the police on him twice before.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So, but you already knew him and you knew his situation. So it's more likely you wouldn't have shot in that situation anyway, versus if it was a stranger.
This is the third time I called the police on a man.
Yeah, and
I understand. So what I'm saying is you are familiar.
That's a good point.
Because I have empathy and I'm understanding.
I understand that.
And I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to kill anybody.
But what I'm saying is that's what I'm saying is knowing the person who's at your door and knowing their mental situation is different than talking about if you don't know someone.
Yeah, but Charles,
now that's not saying the dude isn't. I'm not absolving the white dude of being racist or shooting him just because he was black. That could very well have been the case. You know, and as it come out, no, about what the court document said.
Nah,
she said something about.
He said knowing he has mental issues is scarier than knowing who he is.
And you don't know most people in this world. People have to understand that. Every day you walk out of that door, you're basically putting your life at risk when you drive on the road. When you do a million
I
other
understand
things.
That. What I'm saying that if it's a person at my door,
your door
if it's
is
a person
locked.
at my door that I've never. No, I have a lock on my door, but I mean, you looking at scenarios, right? I'm just processing everything I hate because I'm like, yo, this just sounds crazy, you know, the whole thing. But I'm even listen to this though, right? You said in the neighborhoods you come from, like I've been out in Kansas City, right? Some of that area look country as shit. So if you knock one time and turn and open the door, because that's custom in those type of areas, but it's a stranger coming through your door, that's going to be different than somebody you know. Somebody you never seen did that because it, like you said,
would not shoot that person.
But the point,
he shot
but somebody may.
The point.
That's why I said it's that right there is crazy to me. Through the door is 100% crazy to me, no matter whether it was racistly motivated or not. Because I think at that point, I can't see how you had that type of fear to shoot anybody, regardless of whether it was racist or not. Like who, even if he would have shot a white person, I wouldn't have understood it. Like the person is still outside. They're not inside. You can't be that afraid yet that you can't be like, hey, get away from my door before I shoot. You know what I'm saying? So I think the shooting isn't justified, even if it was determined that it had no racial angle to it. It's still, I wouldn't feel it was justified.
Yeah. But we'll see what the court say.
Yeah, let's tackle that really quick. There's some comments up here that, you know, we really haven't had a chance to really, you know, bring in too many of the comments, but there are a few that if we could just sort of just chime in really quick. This one right here.
Oh, somebody coming to my door. Hold on, let me get my gun.
Okay, gun. According to court documents, y'all.
One day you might be glad you did get it.
Lester said, "Don't come around here after the shooting." Okay. Any thoughts about that? That's in the court documents.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you know, but again, right? If that's in the court documents, that means it's in the court documents. It doesn't mean it's true. It just means it's in court documents.
Yeah, I hear you, but I believe you, man.
To this. I know, whether that's what it's all, but that's what I'm saying. This is what this is all going to turn down to because it's what you're going to believe or not believe.
In his head and a bullet in his arm. So
yes,
ultimately, regardless of what he did, he left with a bullet in his head and a bullet in his arm. So we're talking about something that is uncharacteristic from east to west. That's why I asked, where does it happen? 84 years. and all of a sudden, you shooting at the brown guy. You didn't shoot at the UPS driver. You didn't shoot at Joe walking up the block whose dog might have pooped on your yard. You ain't shot nobody else in 84 years, as far as we know. But now you shoot a 16-year-old that made an honest mistake. Obviously, it's known that the young man was going looking for something else. I mean, that's also, I guess, in the court documents. He was going to pick up his siblings.
Hey, that shit probably happened to him. Maybe he was sick and tired of people mistaking his house for whatever the house number is on 115th Avenue or whatever. Maybe he's sick and tired of it. Maybe it's happened so many times over the years that it was just the final straw.
Whatever his reasons, I hope he goes to jail.
Oh shit!
Whatever his
reasons, I definitely hope that.
I hope he goes to jail
because that was crazy. Because it was crazy for him to do something like that.
Yeah, like it's crazy. One thing to be 84 years old and your family members say, "Hey, you really shouldn't be driving, because you can't see," or that's one thing. It's another thing when ain't nobody apparently said to him, "You don't need to have a gun because at some point you're just going to shoot
exactly
at a random stranger." No,
yep,
he needs to go to jail. He's 84. He need to go to jail. We got to stop making excuses for the harm that happens to us. Because the book, All God's Children, I've commented on this book 1,000 times on this show. I'm going to say it again tonight. All God's Children has actual documentation going all the way back to the 1800s of all of these random things that just happen to happen where we're being killed.
They're not and random the reason,
not random at all. No, not random at all. Hey, Joey, who's been helping us load bales of hair, bales of cotton or whatever the hell on the back of this horse-driven truck, mysteriously just happens to get shot in the head because we told him to drive the horses and my gun just happened to go off. Same bullshit going all the way back to the 1800s. All of these different accounts of these different situations where our lives are just being recklessly taken by people who just do not care about black and brown people. Just don't care about them. Racially motivated things, and they don't care about them. We got to stop making excuses for this, man. We got to start being more proactive and get behind what we think is right. Ultimately, I don't see nothing that dude did. There's nothing no one can tell me.
We're gonna have to get on. That's what I'm saying, Gad. Like, yo, you got to change laws that are not working in our favor, because the only other proactive stuff you're gonna do is just eye for an eye. You know what I'm saying? Other than
that's a good point.
You're gonna have to change.
No. There's a middle piece in there too for me.
What is it?
There's a middle piece in there.
What's that?
Raising the collective consciousness where people are starting to operate again, because it's not like we haven't done it as a people. We have operated in the same wavelengths in the last 125 years.
But that wouldn't have stopped. That wouldn't have stopped him from going to the wrong door.
Every time, I'm gonna keep talking. You talk, bro. It's love, bro. Every time we start operating as a unit, then you get your COINTELPROs, then you get your redlining. I can go on and on and on, but I'm gonna shut up. I'm sick of it, because when I first saw, and I put it on the wall because I had to be honest about it. I was talking to Bostic, and we were on the phone, and all of a sudden my IG popped, and I saw it, and I looked like, damn, he looks like my son. He literally looked like my son. He looked like my son to the point where my son was like, wow. I didn't say nothing to him that day, but when I asked him about it, and I was like, well, have you seen it? Blah 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 blah. He said no. I showed him and his brother, and he was just like, whoa. Yeah. I don't know what those parents went through, and I pray to God I never experienced anything like that. But we got to be on some type of code too, straight up. I'm talking about melanated black people. I'm talking specifically to you all. We have to start being on some type of code when somebody does something like this to us, where uniformly we are on code to push to stop that type of stuff. We've seen historically what we can do when we operate together. And to your point about it being an eye for an eye, maybe it's an eye for some money. Maybe sometimes you got to hit people in the places where they don't expect you to hit them, because historically that has worked. This is still the same capitalist society. So I don't expect people's attitudes to change. And I do expect us to work and to fostering different things that work for us as far as law. But that dude needs to just go to jail. And everybody that thinks he needs to go to jail, throw a one up in the comments. The
Does he still
84
get
years
his life
old man-
insurance if he dies in jail?
Say it again.
Does he still give his life
I don't
insurance payout if
think
he
I
dies
don't
in jail?
think
Not him, but his family.
his life insurance.
That's
I
a
don't
Does
know.
that
great
still
point.
cash out?
I mean, they probably can legally, right?
I'm gonna look at it. Y'all
That's
Yeah.
a great
I mean,
question.
I don't think there's
Yeah,
nobody
yeah,
in
he
the
should get. Yeah,
comments
he
that
would
don't
get
want to go to
anything. Unless
jail.
it's- yeah, if there's nothing
But
he has to pay out.
but
Yeah.
listen to this, right? I don't think that there's anybody in the comments that don't want to see this dude go to jail, right?
You don't think? Maybe we ain't seen everybody's in the comments. Our show is on
Nah,
YouTube.
I don't think so.
There's probably a lot of people who watch it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he shouldn't go to jail. That guy was probably trying to rob him, or I don't hear none of that.
Mhm.
That's what I'm
no,
saying.
No, I don't think anybody that's trying to paint the kid there as some type of thing, you already know where that's coming from. But you know what's the crazy thing is they were gonna, and this is what I'm saying, like you always say with me with the laws, they were gonna try to use that law to keep him out of jail.
Well, that's what a good defense attorney would do, and everybody deserves.
Yo,
a defense,
stand your
right?
ground,
Everybody,
stand your ground,
everybody
stand your
deserves
ground.
a defense, but however, it says normally life insurance policies are void if you enter prison.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
So
I didn't know that. You just taught me something new. Because I had a uncle who was locked up, and it wasn't his life insurance, but he had money from a settlement, and that followed him after his death. So it didn't.
Yeah, that was already cash in his pocket, though.
There you go.
Life
He couldn't touch it. But to your point about the life insurance, you just literally taught it. But again, where's Perry's comment? And then we'll go back to the other ones. Perry said, "Attitude change when finances and economy is affected historically."
Oh, that family
all on the books.
They're gonna sue a number of people. I wouldn't be surprised if they sued like the cops and the DA and all of that.
Can we use that as a segue to quickly talk about what took place with Fox News getting sued for what, 757?
Well, they were sued for $1.6 billion.
Wow.
And they received in settlement out of court $787 million. But they really sued them for an apology and the money. There's another company that they have a case coming up against Fox News as well.
I heard that. And I heard they had even a better case.
They have a better case, and they're suing for like $2 billion, I think.
You know what?
Yeah.
If
that's just the cost of doing business for Fox at this point, man.
Yeah, but that's a lot of money.
Well.
I don't even think they care.
A lot, but how many hits can you take before the well runs dry?
Yeah,
Depends
on who's funding the well.
Well, but that's a good point. But I ain't seen nothing that well can't.
Yo, them people, they still on there. Yo, did you hear Fox's apology on? Did you see what Fox said? How little they said? Yo, they acknowledged it, and then they basically kept it moving. And then Then I went and I was looking at MSNBC last night. Actually, I was watching news like 1 o'clock in the morning for some reason last night, and yeah, because I almost never watch the news. I read it, I read it on my phone. But last night I was just sitting up watching the news, and it was like what was they saying about how while the trial was going on, some of the stuff Tucker Carlson and them, they were literally saying stuff as the trial was going on. It's almost like their base,
they don't care,
has been their base has been ignited so crazy. They I don't care what we saying out here. We just gonna pay and keep it moving. Yeah,
that base does not care about truth at all. Yeah. They don't care about facts. And if you say something to them,
read this.
Hold on.
If this is, just read this. Don't finish what you're saying.
But if the right person says it, it could be the right person can say the sky's green, and they will believe it. And they will come up with all the excuses as to why the sky is not blue, it's green. Because all of these years, all of these thousands of years, we've been told that the sky is blue, but now blue is really green, and you need to go do your research. Because if you did your research, you would know that back 1,000 years ago, someone mixed up the color blue and green, so that's why the sky is green today. And if you don't believe me, then you're going to hell. And that's what that base does. It could be anything. If the right person says it and they say it enough, they believe it. It's confirmation bias.
It is confirmation bias. It's 100% confirmation bias. And it's also generational ignorance.
Willful ignorance. I'll throw that one in there too.
And willful ignorance. It's like but I'm gonna go back to what I firmly believe. Somebody put up there. Daniel wrote, "That's just the first case." That's just the first case.
There's at least one more coming. I think. Dan.
My thing is, we're gonna start seeing a slow peeling of the onions. Nobody's gonna come and just cut the onion in half. It's gonna be a slow peeling of the onions. And the thing is, to your point, Charles, about legality and everything else, you never know. Maybe there's some laws that can help them or something that they will push towards. But I love when people are paying attention to something and using their voice and their money to have a counter. Because here's the deal. If they're going to keep putting all that money, like I thought the most beautiful thing I've ever seen with an unfortunate situation recently was when they were asking for $500,000 for Ralph's bills. And for him and his family to have towards medical, his college fund.
What are they, like over 4 million now?
Is it over 4 now?
That last
time I saw it was 3.5 something.
I saw 3.5 last. And this to me was like this is what I'm trying to say, because remember something. Historically, every time we get on something, and this is all people that are doing good things or fight racism, because Black people are not the only people that fight racism and negative things. I mean, there's globally efforts.
Honestly, we're not even the ones who should be fighting it, but that's another story.
That's the truth. That's a good point. and we can have that show, but I think it's sad to see what he had to go through in order to get that. But we have to realize that we have to make the same type of sacrifices to counter things that harm us. And it's going to take money sometimes. Sometimes it's going to take not spending your money, not giving your money. I still haven't had a Snapple since like 96. And I don't even know if what I learned back then was the truth. Matter of fact, I probably go back and look. What about Snapple?
Snapple. Oh,
I haven't had a Snapple.
I don't
since 96.
That's why I don't even remember why I don't drink Snapple. Have you been to Denny's?
I haven't been to Denny's since 91. 91. I have not stepped foot. No, because you're not allowed to have my money. And do things outwardly that.
I'm not going to Florida or Tennessee.
I ain't listen.
I'm not going to go to Alabama. Y'all can't have my money.
It's going to take me a little time, because I ain't gonna lie. Like I was in Florida not too long ago within the confines of all of this. But now that everybody's like, yo, we can't give them our money. And the more I'm thinking about it with this dude, like homie put up about DeSantis earlier and was like, yo, I don't see the comment.
They don't need. He just passed a law, wrote a law in that you don't need a permit for concealed carry.
And then it ends something about you. You got to prove that you were raped or incest in order to get the abortion.
Florida can't have my money.
Well, I gotta get on that. It's going. I got a lot of family members down there, so when I go, I mean, it is vacation, obviously, but. I also go to see my family and friends, but I'm starting to lean like, they starting to. He is starting to really disrupt in a very unique way.
It'll be interesting because he wants to be president. So,
yeah, I'm not paying you to be racist against me.
Absolutely.
No. And yo, Perry, same here, bro. Pops, what up?
No, Jenny.
Yeah. So listen, we gotta have a conversation about what transpired in I think Rocky Mountain, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
There's video footage of a teacher, a substitute teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and she got into a fight, a fist fight
Mm-hmm.
with the student. I don't know how old the student was. Maybe you might have that information, Keisha or Charles.
I do know.
I
I
don't.
think
I
she
don't
was
know. Okay,
16,
she was
but don't
16.
quote me.
Mhm.
Well, well, I was supposed to find the video so we could, watch it. We've never really shown a video or anything like that. Maybe once before, but I'm gonna try to find it, and I mean, we can throw it up there. There was a heavy, 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 heavy line of debates on different Facebook pages, and today, I went on Hip Hop Mom's page. One of her posts went up, and I saw that there was a thread, and in her thread, basically, in a nutshell, I can't quote how you wrote it.
There's an
Um,
absolute. Well, basically,
can
I
read
said
it.
and I'm a believer in this. And ever since the social media age came about, people act like there has to be a line, like you have to either be right or wrong in a particular situation. And
Right,
there's most situations you can be some right, you can be some wrong.
facts.
Both of y'all can be wrong and right. It doesn't have to. You don't have to team this fucking hashtag team whatever, right?
Right.
So the kid was wrong. She went around the desk, which is supposed to be kind of the line of demarcation. She escalated, excuse me, over her phone. She took the first swing. The kid was wrong. The teacher backed into a corner, defended herself, and pummeled to beat the shit out of this little girl.
Where are y'all getting this? Like, I mean,
Grabbing hair, slamming her on the ground. The
wait.
teacher,
Grabbing hair? The girl grabbed her hair and pulled her down. What did you see?
the teacher?
The student grabbed her hair and brought her to the ground.
Okay, there was grabbing of hair. But
Okay,
the
yeah. I'm about
teachers
to say.
restraining her, the little girl, they were both wrong. Neither one of
Yes.
them should have been rolling around on the ground.
Agreed.
However,
Agreed.
as a person in that position, I really feel like it's we know that it's not okay to judge our children as adults
Okay.
by expelling them at higher rates than white kids,
Okay.
or situations like Tamir Rice where they felt threatened by a 12-year-old kid in a park with a toy gun. Our kids historically are taken as, there's been studies about this, are taken as way older than they actually are. They're given much more severe punishment as if they were older or adults. I
By
know
who?
that we
By you're
by
saying by
society.
society?
Yes.
But are you including? So that's what I want to say. Are you saying that like the punishment handed out by white people is different from black or white? Are you saying also like within ourselves for like the black teacher, like that, or like a black teacher looks at like that also? That's what I'm trying to say.
In
Are
this
you
situation,
incorporating everyone when you're saying that, or just a specific group?
I'm stating the fact that we know as black parents and black adults that our children are treated more severely because they're seen as older in society.
Mm-hmm.
In other situations, we acknowledge that and we fight to protect that. But in situations like these, we get she fucked around and found out. She's a 16 fucking year old girl that
I
made
think
a 16 fucking year old girl's mistake, approaching an adult like an adult, but that still doesn't make her an adult. And I will never advocate for violence against children. However, talking to the myriad of people that commented on the post today, I do, and I know lots of teachers. I was used to be married to a teacher who taught in the belly of the beast. Okay? Basically. I didn't want him to come home every day. I just feel like in my gut, this situation was escalated when it could have been
I'm down
de-escalated. It
with
was escalated by the kid. It was escalated by her, and school systems need to give the teachers the tools that they need in order to protect themselves without having to smash kids' faces in. That's all. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
I mean, and the beauty of
There's
being
a fuck around and find out mentality.
the beauty.
Yeah. So where did you see the most of that? Did you see that along with the guys and the women? The difference in opinions. Yo, she fucked around and found out versus like
it's across the board. There's lots. I mean, it's even basically.
Can y'all hear me?
Oh, both. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I coming through still?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. No, my joint is bugging over. Yeah. When you say the F around and find out mentality, I saw when that went up on your page and it went up on mine. I'm gonna ask you a simple question. Is there truth in that statement?
There's definitely truth in the statement, but it doesn't have to make it the way that it's supposed to be. A lot of shit is true, like the man shooting the man through the door. I mean, the boy through the door, but that doesn't have to be the way it's supposed to be. I'm talking about the mentality itself. Like it's a bad situation all around. The substitute teacher is getting paid $12 an hour. I could not do it. Let me first say that.
Okay.
I know myself, and I'm just not going to deal with that. I will find myself another job that pays the same.
Okay.
However, if she's been, like she said on her live video, if she's been teaching for 22 or in and around kids and supporting kids and mentoring kids for 22 years, that's 2 decades. It seems as if she would have the mentality to de-escalate a situation. But then again, everybody has a bad day. And that was a bad day for her and the girl.
It wasn't a bad day for her. It was a teaching day for her.
What do you mean? A teaching moment?
She had a cell phone, and the young lady tried to take the cell phone, and she shooed her away like, no. She also stated, I tried to call the office 3 times. That's what she said. So for all the people that were saying, why didn't she de-escalate? She said, I tried to call the office 3 times. She also said in her 22 years in education, she wasn't just doing one thing. She was in the educational system doing different things. None of that changes the fact that you do not have the right to put your hands on anybody in any situation. It's not just a school thing. And what I was trying to say earlier across platforms was, what if it wasn't in the school and people was, maybe I should have been clearer, but I know of situations right now. And I mean, without saying any names or anything like that, I know situations where people have lost their lives because at that moment they wanted to be the bad one. They wanted to be the one to show up.
Oh, there's a big problem with people keeping their
hands. They wanted to be the one to act out. And ultimately, were they both wrong? Yes, we can see where they were both wrong, and we see where some people think they were both right. But I know one thing, because when I worked in the school system, I came in from a completely different way. I was a student advocate. So I'm the guy that would actually go in for a young lady like that or a young male like that to advocate for them and then make sure that their parents were empowered to speak up for their children. But that still doesn't change the fact that you still have to abide by the rules of the institution. You have to abide by the rules of the school.
So if she doesn't abide by the rules, that means it's okay for the teacher not to abide by the rules.
Wait, what do you mean?
Once it gets to a certain point.
Wait, what do you mean? Say that again. I'm sorry.
Keeping your hands to yourself. Like, that's number one golden rule. Nobody touches anybody. Everybody keep their hands to themselves.
How are you so dismissive of what the young lady did that caused
I'm not dismissive at all. They are both wrong. They are both wrong. But I just believe a child makes child mistakes.
I agree with you there. I do. A child does make a child mistakes. Me and you on the same page there. I also wish it didn't happen.
Absolutely.
But too many times with the youth, when we're trying to explain to them the reality of, how situations can be transposed into real situations where you could literally lose your freedom or your life. They don't hear it. They don't listen. Of course, again, that's just a 16-year-old being a 16-year-old. But at some point, you got to make a decision. If I'm telling you constantly, don't go through the door on the left. Don't go through the door on the left. And you keep getting to the door, and then finally you go through the door on the left and you fall off the damn cliff. I did my job of telling you. I don't know
But
what this
you didn't push the part. You didn't push the kid through the door over the cliff. You didn't. You as the adult, you as the person who's trained to deal with children, you as the person who's supposed to be an advocate for children, you didn't put when the kid got to the door and opened the door, you didn't push them through the door over the cliff.
That's not no. But are you talking about me? Or are you talking about the actual teacher?
I'm talking about in your analogy.
Well, let me tell you something. I was actually going to move a little bit further in my analogy to say this. Whatever I don't know what's in that young lady's background. I don't know nothing about her.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, you got your phone taken in class. Charles said earlier before we went live, he was like, "What did you say about the phones?" I don't know. It was a quick statement. I can't remember. Okay,
yeah,
let me just tie let me just tie it up like this. She's in school with the phone. That's already something that wasn't supposed to be happening. All along, whatever took place, she decided to swing on the teacher. I wish the young lady would not have swung on the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see with my eyes what the teacher was supposed to do in that situation. I've looked at the video. I looked at it about 2 or 3 times. I asked my sons about it. I was like, yo, what do y'all think? And they was like, whoa, the teacher shouldn't have, hit the student, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, that's what's up. I said, well, why? And it was like, well, one of my sons said the teacher hit her first. And the other one was like, she swung and that's just not how you do it. And then I was like, oh, and then one of them was like, why is she on top of her like that? I said, because the young lady pulled her hair and pulled her down and had her head tucked. So one of my sons went back and looked and was like, whoa, I didn't see that. So I was like, in this situation, what are you supposed to do? So one of my sons was like, well, maybe it could have stopped earlier. I said, but the young lady was still fighting. Now, here's why I'm saying this. You can't start a fight. And I'm not saying that the teacher was right. Okay, please let me say that across the board. But you can't start a fight and then have an expectation on how it's supposed to finish. If that young lady would have had her, had her on the ground and then reached in her pocket and pulled out a pencil and jabbed her in her neck and killed her. Now the conversation changes, but it's still like we look at the variable, not you all, but we look at the variables as if there's not real life on the other side of this. That young lady then went online and then put up a social media post, basically going after her friends or the students.
Not doing anything.
Mm-hmm. And then everybody's like asking, like, where is it that the teacher was allowed to defend herself? And can anybody tell me how she should have diffused that situation once the fight started?
She doesn't have the tools. They don't. The school systems do not give teachers the tools to defend themselves without fighting the children that attack them. They don't give them to them. And that's part of the problem. I'm not calling any of this right. I'm calling both of their actions wrong. Yes, she needed to go home that day. In her video, she said that a teacher had been knocked out the week before and something else happened to a teacher. So I get it completely and wholeheartedly. All I'm saying is that as the school systems and principals and teachers are responsible for these kids, this is not the method to take care of these kids. It's not. And something else has to be done. They need to be given the tools to be able to protect themselves. And it ain't always going to work, right? It is not always going to work. But that was just straight emotional fight or flight.
But I'm going to ask you again. If she made the calls to the office and she tried to get assistance, she tried to do whatever because we don't know what else happened. And then that situation happened. You're saying that she didn't have the tools. I would
just beat her ass then.
I would fair to say that she did everything that she was supposed to do, and it didn't work.
So they beat her ass. Huh? It's not. I'm not going to call it right. It happened. It's horrible. It shouldn't have happened. But I will not call that right. I won't call it right.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just trying to figure out what else she was supposed to do. The only reason I said that is because, listen, when I worked in a group home many years ago, I had some of the hardest, craziest young people in the world. Some had, I mean, the issues were across the board: suicidal ideations, aggressive tendencies, defiant disorders.
Mhm.
And I had this one client, and I'm 6'5", he's 6'5". He's 17. At the time, I was a lot younger. This was back in the 90s. So I was still in my 20s. I did everything by the book.
Mhm.
All my supervisor. Back then you had the telephones on the wall. I mean, I had a cell phone, but basically everybody was still telephone on the wall. The young man broke the plane. He broke the second plane. He wasn't supposed to come to where I was at. I went to this house actually to relieve another worker during the holidays because I didn't go back to New York.
Mhm.
When he broke the first plane the first 3 times, I did everything that I was taught to do. I prompted, I redirected. When he broke the second plane, meaning he came into that other space,
Mhm.
I not only redirected, I stood up because I'm letting them know, like, this is not going to go the way you think it's going to go. Plus, I don't know what this kid got. I don't know if he got a pair of scissors. I don't know anything. I know what the record says, and I know what's in his files. And I know he was capable of beating up his grandmother and hurting a lot of other people. What would make me any different? So this is not the school situation, and I understand this is not the same type of situation. But ultimately, when he made the decision to break that plane and come to do what he tried to do, I defended myself. They wanted to fire me because for a second, to your point, did he follow the rules? They're trying to figure it all out. Not only did I follow the rules, my supervisor was the one that was off point. So they had to go back to the call log and see it, 1:35, 1:45 in the morning. I'm actually trying to do what was said. And it's so crazy to think that what this woman went through, where she made the calls and the backup didn't help. And mind you, I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. That's where this group home was. And I had to make a decision. So I did what I had to do. But ultimately, I'm like, I never had nothing in my files where I ever hurt a child or anything like that. That's not me. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I don't want to bother nobody. But my training, for whatever it was worth, and for what it was not enough to stop that situation.
It wasn't enough to stop it, Deb, but it was probably enough to not make it as bad as it could have been.
No, I'm gonna tell you something because all of that was out the window when he did what he did, and then we did what we did, and then I did what I did. Nah, because if I was any different, it would have been different because I feared for my life in that moment. And when I wrote that earlier, somebody was like, "You sound like the cops." I'm like, "You don't think cops fear for their lives? That's not an excuse. Some cops genuinely fear for their lives, and some cops genuinely use it as an excuse." So I mean, no, but I feared because I didn't fear. Honestly, I'm not gonna say like in the moment, like it was like, oh, but once he came and did what he did, I'm like, oh, he, and I know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
So in this situation with the young lady, I'm gonna say it like this: to your point, Perry's point, other people's point that said it. I wish it didn't happen. Yes, I do think they were both wrong. But I don't even know when I say I think they're both wrong, I don't see what the teacher could have done different at this point for me, honestly, even say I think she's wrong.
Maybe it happened before the video, but I only saw escalation from the moment I pressed play on both sides, in voice, in action. I just saw it go up until they were both on the ground. So maybe it was there. Just in all her 22 years of teaching, this happened to be the only time she fought a child, and it happened to be the only time that it was on video and it went viral.
I think we should give her credit for that because I believe her.
I don't know.
I believe her. I think.
What are you saying that you think that she did fight somebody else?
I don't know anything. I don't know this woman.
No, but I'm saying, do you think that I'm asking you, like, you think based off I don't know, I don't want to use ease. That's not really the right way, but let's just say the ease in which this happened that you think there may have been a previous situation?
Yes, that's all I'm gonna say. I do.
Okay.
And it's possibility.
I do. I just
Possibility.
I didn't see any type of escalation. And again, it may have a de-escalation. It may have happened prior to the video starting. She may have attempted to de-escalate before she went behind the desk.
The desk, yeah.
Yo, but
I'm gonna tell you,
it was just like
I didn't. Yeah, but not based off of that. I don't know. I would have never thought that she was a teacher for 20-something years, but
she wasn't.
Not off.
She was not a teacher. She said she's been in and around like Bible study and.
I was gonna say that was like that
substituting and
I wish you did.
Oh, interesting. That's
what's
interesting. That? She said Tempest.
Tempest.
She said, I've heard, not read, that the parent, because this is just right up the street from us. So, I mean, if you're in the Raleigh area, it's just right up the street. So there's a lot, everybody probably got a cousin in Rocky Mount that know these people. But I have heard, not read, that the parent does not feel the teacher did anything wrong.
Why can't we have a moment of understanding?
Her family stated that she is bad.
Of understanding both sides. Mm-hmm. There are bad children in the schools. I was a bad child in the schools, for real.
Did you get beat? Did you get beat in school by the administrators and the teachers?
I did get beat one time in elementary school, and if I could have found that dude before, when I got a little older, if I could have found him, it was on site, literally. When I got big enough, if I would have saw, I know his full name and everything. If I would have saw him, and this is documented, I was going to beat him up. Or I was gonna hurt him. Yeah.
Thank God.
The way he spanked me where I could feel the back of my spine. The bottom of my spine was little.
He had a big paddle.
He didn't use a paddle, he used his hand. What? And I peed a little bit on myself. That's how hard he hit me. And the woman that was sitting there for the rest of my life, I knew her my whole life. I really didn't have much more to say to her because it wasn't that I did or did not deserve the spanking. I probably did deserve the spanking based on that time frame. You know what I mean? I took a can and I threw the can up in the air in a crowded field of kids. And it came down and hit one of the kids. All right. Okay, so granted, for those rules, for that time period, in the late 70s, that was grounds to get spanked. All right. But the way he spanked
or less.
The way he spanked me, that shit stayed with me for a very, 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 very long time. The way that man hit me, it stayed with me for a very long time. When I got older, and then I found out his specs, he's 6'3", 190 pounds. I'm every bit of 4 whatever. I was so little then, because I grew into being tall. I was not always tall. I grew like 5 inches in a year. That's what happened.
That hurts. Literally.
It literally hurt. But I went from being a very scrawny, I was scrawny in high school. I was scrawny in college, really. I mean, but I was really little. And the way he beat me, because that wasn't a spanking, he beat me. If I could have saw that man, because in high school, high school was no better because I didn't get back into public school until the 10th grade. Because so from the 7th grade to the 10th grade, I was thrown around all of the worst schools that you can go to for bad behavior in Westchester. This is all documented. But if I could have saw that dude, I would have hurt him. And I'm saying that, and I'm not saying that to somebody that's a mean or a violent person. So I don't want nobody to say, oh, Dev is, but no, I'm actually anti-violent. I don't believe in violence unless you have to protect yourself. He was dead ass wrong. he was dead ass wrong, because he didn't just spank me. He wasn't trying to teach me a lesson. That man tried to hurt me. And growing up in the environment that I grew up in, and the stuff that I had witnessed and the things that I seen, I knew the difference between a beating and somebody literally trying to really mess you up. It really messed me up. So to your point, Keisha, I've always been an advocate for teachers not to put their hands on children. I didn't write that on my wall, but I'm going to say it right now. I don't believe that teachers should put their hands on children. But that comes with a very simple understanding of something. I don't believe that anybody should have the right to put their hands on you. And so
no, absolutely.
It's a very delicate balancing act. And so when I see people all over the face, because like on my wall, it got a little loud today. And
teachers don't get paid enough for that shit. Subs don't get paid enough. Teachers don't get paid enough. Admins don't get paid enough to sign up to get beat up all day. Absolutely not.
They don't.
But
they don't have the proper tools. The teacher got her hip broke recently. She got her hip broke.
Yeah.
I'm saying like we can be as upset as we want at the educational system, but I was glad that they did away to some degree with corporal punishment. But here's the reality:
you catch these hands.
It was a different time period. Nobody can put their hands on mine. And I saw when you wrote it on your wall, nobody can put their hands.
Oh yeah, y'all can do whatever the fuck you want with your kids. Do not touch my kids.
Don't touch mine. So, but here's the deal:
what about if your kid had hit the teacher?
It would never happen.
If my son was in Charles' class, but again, everybody is like you said earlier. You said the world's going crazy. It's reflected in everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these children were locked in rooms for the last 3, 4, 5, 3 years. Excuse me. A lot of antisocial behavior, not having really outlets, and now we got a situation where some of these children are acting out. I wish it didn't happen, but I'm trying to see with my own eyes like what the teacher could have done different for what I saw. But I do understand everything that you said. All the boundaries seem to be broken. The darn student was behind the desk. All the stuff that we was taught that you don't do was sort of like violated. Yeah. Like I never went.
You can tell kids not to go behind the desk. I mean, I know that's, and I talked to several teachers today. Like apparently the desk is the boundary, right? And she breached that boundary. But I don't ever remember hearing that when I was in school. I don't ever remember my kids talking about that particular boundary. I mean, yes, it's a physical boundary, but you know what I'm saying? I just feel I would never be okay with violence against kids. And I'm sorry what happened.
I feel you. I feel you.
Never.
But was this violence against kids? See, when you say violence against kids, it's almost like child beat his ass versus child does something that put them in a really precarious, hurtful situation. That's all I'm saying. If there's nothing in this woman's record that shows that she has been beating on children or has been aggressive towards children, and then this happens, is it an anomaly or did she defend herself? She yelled at the end once she finally got the young lady subdued, somebody get some help. She cursed these teachers. And what I told my sons was, I was like, yo, it was a fight until that moment. They went back and looked. They was like, you're right. It wasn't like the little girl just laid in and she started pummeling. That's why when you said pummeling, I'm like, no, they were fighting.
That girl is probably 100 pounds.
She probably is. And it's unfortunate.
And that was a horrible
situation. I wish she wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, well, my mama always told us, like, don't feel froggy unless you're gonna jump. Don't act froggy.
Yo, you know what the whole bottom line comes down to in that situation.
Thank you,
like
Jessica.
I agree what you said as far as like it doesn't always have to be definitively right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? It could be, like I say that about people's principles all the time. I'll be like, man, half of these people don't got no principles or morality. They're situational. It fluctuates with whatever the topic is that you're talking about, right? Versus some, I have a hardcore principle, like I'm never going to do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't really see that. But this is how I look at all of that. At the very end of the day, we're going to debate back and forth about right or wrong. And I think most people could kind of see both sides. It's just a matter which way they're going to but this is how I've always looked at it in life. Yo, whenever you put your hands on somebody, anything can happen.
Yeah, that's true.
You do not put your hands on anyone unless you are ready for anything to happen, because you do not know how a person is going to respond. And I'm not even talking about aggressive stuff. I'm talking about some people will flip on you if you tap them and ask them, excuse me, and say, yo, there was no reason for you to touch me, to ask me to excuse you. I understand words. Do not put your hands on me. And I understand it's teacher, kid, and stuff like that and everything. And there's a age group, and, you know, obviously, you know, not gonna, you know, a 5-year-old hit me. I'm not gonna go crazy and knock a 5-year-old down, you know, but yo, I mean, I can, and like Dev said, if you take it out the classroom, yo, a 16-year-old kid hit me, I'm gonna knock his ass out right there in the street. If a 16-year-old kid walks up to me in the street and hits me, I'm gonna knock his ass out right in the street, because I don't know what the hell made you think that that was okay. You know what I'm saying? In the same way, I'm going to try to do that to anybody that hits me. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, yo, once I just feel like that once you put your hands on somebody, it's you opening up the door for any type of response. And I'm not letting these kids out here, like, I don't have the interactions with them. So I mean, a 16-year-old would literally have to just be on some bullshit. But look at what they do sometimes. They do that like gang initiation. Like, don't come and punch me. Come and punch me in the face. Don't sucker punch me, whether you're 16, 17, 18-year-old playing no freaking games, man. Because you're gonna get your shit split doing that. You know what I'm saying? Or you might get shot. That's the reality, man. You might lose your life doing that to somebody. So the best bet is, if you don't want no drama like that, keep your hands off people. Because some people hit you even if you ain't put your hands on them. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, one way to avoid getting your ass kicked, man, is try to keep yourself out of putting your hands on people. She keeps her hands to herself. In that classroom, none of this happens.
Yeah,
it's just a bullshit argument over the cell phone. Once you swing, it turns into anything else. That's the bottom line. It's the same thing. We could pull the cars over. We had an accident. We can argue and all of that about the road rage. But if you get out that car and hit me, it's a whole nother accident now. It's a whole nother scenario. You know, and that's just the bottom line, man. Can't put your hands on people if you don't want that type of drama.
You people wrote. She said a group of teenage boys just jumped a bus driver in Jersey City. He pulled out a gun on them and gave 3 shots. So I don't know the behind the scenes of what happened. You know, I don't, you know, again, even with this situation with the young lady and the teacher, like, to your point, Keish, we don't know what might have taken place before. All we know is what's being said, you know. You know, but I think the best thing that can come out of this, as far as lessons for any of the youth, is please take it from me. Do not put your hands on nobody. Yeah. Camp when I was younger, and I was trying to hang out with people that was doing some real dumb stuff and knuckling up and all that other stuff, and I knuckled up and hit a kid, and he beat the shit out of me. I mean, right on the spot. Like, it was. And the sad thing about it is, when I look back at it now as an older man, well, when I looked at it in my 20s, you know, I'm looking at teenage behavior, because I was real, like, this was like 11, 12, 13 when this happened. You know, and the kid, he wasn't fighting back, and I shouldn't have did it. You know what I'm saying? And to the point, I took the shot and I hit him, and he wore me out. He tore me up. That was an early lesson for me. Like, well, damn, you know, I'm trying to follow the crew. That was stupid. Yeah. But even more importantly, I thought I could beat him. You know what I mean? So I did it, and he twisted me up like a pretzel. He beat me up. But I say all of that to say this. I don't believe that any human should be aggressive unnecessarily towards anybody. But I didn't use this term early because I didn't say, but I understand, because earlier, Keish, when me and you had our dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
you wrote up there, but the people who are saying, but they understand. And the thing is, I do understand. And I can clearly see it on both sides. I literally can see it on both sides. I can see it as somebody who's been a student advocate who ran a respite program for young men 14 to 19. We had the teenage pregnancy prevention program on our campus. And one of the things that we taught them how to do was to abstain from violence. But all of that came with a very simple understanding. If you're put in a situation where you have no other option, you got to do what you got to do.
Beat their ass. Yeah. Both of my kids are black belts in Taekwondo. They've been black belts for years. None of them have ever been in any fights.
But most, first off, most people who know how to fight, they don't get in fights.
Yeah.
They don't get in fights. Statistically, they don't get in fights.
Yep.
Because a lot of times they already know, like, go ahead, man. It's like, go ahead, because they already know what you can do. But here's the difference in the slight difference in the caveat now in 2023 versus when I was coming up. In the late 80s, and Charles, you might be able to attest to this, and maybe you can attest to this, Keish, because you're a few years younger than us, but nevertheless, you might remember this. I remember when the switch went from knuckling up to them guns.
Yeah.
I remember because it was quick. People make it sound like it was not over time. People just stopped fighting and they started shooting.
Right quick. Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
And so now you're put in a situation where even if you can defend yourself with your hands,
you can't.
You can't do it. And so I say that to say this. We don't know half the damn time if somebody has a weapon on them. And I'm going to tell you right now, I had weapons on me when I was younger. You would look right at me and would not know what I had on me. And I had it. Not guns, because I was scared of guns. But I had some other stuff that if it was needed, I can get out of a situation.
Take you upside down and clink, 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 clink.
Oh, if Caesars was on here right now, or if Bostic or one of them, or Rob or one of my childhood friends, they'd be like, yo, my nickname was Petro Shank. That's the nickname the crew gave me, and I hated it because it was a snap. Petro Shank. Because they were saying, yo, he's so shook that he'll shank you. And that was the reality. But how do you shank somebody without a shank? So I look at it like this. I don't want to ever be put in a situation, and like I told my sons, and they've seen it. They've seen me walk away. They've seen me go ahead, man, and laugh something off when easily I could have been the aggressor. I'm not on it like that. I just want to get home. I just want to mind my business.
Yeah, there's too many other threats out here for that.
Everything. Yes, but I had other things too. I did have knives. I also had
knuckles.
I had all kinds of stuff. I had little teeny
chucks.
I had hammers, little teeny hammers, and you couldn't see it. You could see me like this, and if I needed to use it, I would. But yeah, he sure is, Steve. That's when I was a kid and had some issues, but I never hurt nobody. Let me be clear.
Everybody grows and learns, and hopefully
I never hurt nobody. Damn, Pops put me. He's
throwing you out there.
Yeah, he did. I mean, but again, this is also I was also a child that was bullied. And I was also a child that didn't have the size and I wasn't a big dude. I'm still not a big dude. You know what I mean? But once you learn how to I hate to say stand your ground, it changes things. Once people have an idea that if they do something to you, something plausibly could happen to them, they either going to go there and they're going to go over the top, or 90% of the time they're just going to leave you alone. They're going to leave you alone. And most people left me alone because they didn't know, and they also didn't know what my crew was. And on top of that, like, I wasn't bothering nobody. There's nothing documented.
Yeah, and that's the main thing, and that's the most important thing. Yeah,
don't bother
that's
nobody.
The most important thing, man. Yeah, you leave people alone.
I never bothered nobody. Never. If I ever did something
you ain't looking for,
except that one time when I got beat trying to follow the crew. That was the only time. Outside of that,
but you learned from that, so hopefully.
I learned very quick that day. Keish, I learned from that, and I also learned when I got shot at 15.
Yeah.
That weekend, that Friday, I was trying to hang with everybody. I was trying to be all cool and everything. Yeah, you know, my grandma said, get upstairs. I was like, whatever, I ain't going upstairs. Okay. They shot those guns. We banged on those doors. I was trying to get in. Grandma would not open the door. Stay your ass out there. That's what she said. I'm begging the door. I don't want to stay there. Let me in.
Sometimes lessons are learned the hardest way.
That Monday, I went to school with some penny loafers, a tweed jacket. I was done. My thug life was done.
You ain't switch up on them, did you?
Thug life was. I
was straight GQ on him.
Yeah, bro. I went GQ, and the program I was in, I was up in one of the bad boy schools. 4 months later, I was back in regular high school. I was done. Listen, they can have that. I want no parts of it.
They're shooting out here.
Yeah, they're really shooting guns. Where they do that at? You know, I was done. And people go, you know, was you ever? I didn't even qualify to be a thug. I was technically a sucker trying to act hard with everybody else. You know what I mean? I put them penny loafers on. Yo, Charles came out with the button. I was done. I was done.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't wear another hoodie until I got back in high school, bro. I was done.
Growth is amazing, yo.
And it was
amazing.
Yeah.
But hopefully both of these, she does have pending charges.
Oh wow, yeah, I saw that.
She's got pending.
Who, the teacher?
Assault charges.
And she said she might lose her license. She was trying to be a real estate agent, and she might not be able to.
But I don't understand, like, how hitting somebody back that hit you, go legally again now. I don't understand how that doesn't qualify as self-defense if someone hits you.
Probably because she's a child.
Yeah, well, but you will charge
a child smaller than
doing something to me, right?
Mm-hmm. You would charge the
child for assaulting an adult, right? Yo, a 16-year-old just can't beat you up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think she's gonna beat it. No matter what, I think she's gonna beat it.
Yeah, because it just out of that this come down to like a jury. Well, I don't even think it's going that far. They'll probably end up throwing it, sweeping it, dismissing it, especially if the parents aren't going crazy. You know, the school district would love for it to just go away, and if the parents aren't going crazy, this in 1 or 2 days we might not never hear the outcome of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If the parents ain't going crazy with the school district and everything like that, man, I doubt if this is going to even be a story after a couple of days. It's going to be like that.
This has not hit the news yet. I was trying to look to see.
Yeah, because that shit is happening every day.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that goes. Man, should a teacher get punched in her face or his face every day in American schools? You know what I'm saying? Maybe across the world, but definitely in America, they probably a teacher probably get assaulted every day in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? All right. So if you really want to talk about, let's talk about how that ain't even newsworthy in our classrooms no more. Teaching the students how to fight.
Which makes it even more relevant that they need to give these people the tools that they need. Like
she pulled her hair out.
She pulled her hair.
Pulled like 2 inches of the hair out. If you all friends of mine on Facebook, actually one of the brothers that lives in Rocky Mountain posted her video of her explaining what took place from her perspective. And again, I feel for her. You know, I do. I mean, I was just trying to figure out what could she do different. I'm gonna stop saying that, but I want to reiterate that. But it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's an unfortunate event. We hope that this stuff doesn't happen anymore. But for the young people, listen. We in a time where if you make a mistake and ring a doorbell to pick up your siblings, God forbid, you can get shot.
Yeah.
Or in a time that if you're 16 or 19 years old, you can be in a car and the officers can think that you're my age and, middle age and just shoot into the car and kill you.
Yeah.
We're in an age where when people see you and this is across the board. I'm not just talking to now. I'm not just talking to melanated or black children or Latino children or brown or poor children or poor whites. I'm talking to the world. We're in an age where everybody's highly defensive. There's a lot going on. Everybody needs some type of therapy. Everybody needs somebody to talk to that can give them good advice. So to your point earlier, Keish, we are in a manic state. The world is in a manic state.
Absolutely.
My advice, my loving advice is please keep your hands to yourself. And if you can avoid situations, even menial, like just avoid them. Like I got cut off the other day. Back in the day, like if you cut me off like that, I used to have an issue. Bad, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
there's just too many other things that can happen these days enough that you don't need to go causing shit to happen.
Excellent point.
Like there's so much other shit that could take you away from here or disable you or leave you homeless and broke that someone else is in control of. There's no need for anyone, teacher or student, to go doing anything that can cause that for yourself. Like, just keep your head on the swivel and duck and dive and make it alive.
Yeah. I fully agree. I fully agree. So listen, it's always a great show, but it's definitely a wonderful, great show. And Keisha with the Y comes and hangs out with us. And thank you for coming the first time.
Thanks for having me.
It is an honor because, I've always said openly, like, some of the stuff that we've done, we patterned after Straight to Tape because I was watching your show. I was watching you all before you were a video podcast. I used to listen to you, and so I'm like, yo, what about this, Charles? What about this, Mike? You know what I mean? Just because I'm watching what y'all doing, and it was like, yo, let's get it popping. So I think
we're actually trying to get back together soon. So like recording together soon in the same room. So we're just trying to figure all that out. But
yeah, it's a good time.
We had good times. Yeah, definitely.
There's some cameras that they actually have that you can do that now, and you can have the live stuff going on.
You talk to P about it.
I know. I just want to say the record. So really quick, Daniel, Jessica, Pops, stop telling people what I used to do. Pops, I'm a nice guy, Pops. Walt G, good to see you up here, brother. Make sure you come on back. Both our Steves, friends of the show. Tashira, what's up, Tashira? Tashira is one of our other special guests. And Tashira be bringing that fire when she comes. Lord, she comes with. But tonight we didn't have to argue. I almost feel like we had a great moment tonight. We didn't argue tonight. Tashira, and you throw something in there where we can just argue for a few minutes. I almost feel bad we didn't argue. I'm just messing with you. Jessica, Patricia, Ed. Who else is up in there? I said both our Steves. I'm shouting y'all both out at the same time. Christina, if I double up, Lee. Tempest, Tracy, let's see who else. Perry, Larry Lindsay, Losing Pepsi. Listen, Elton, all of you all when you come and hang out with us. Oh, Curtis, that's our guy. We got about 5 or 6 people that are always with us. If this thing goes on, if they're available, it's rare when they don't show up. We want to thank you all also. Lisa Lyles, what's good? She's family. I think I hit on everybody up here almost. Let me see. John Champion, of course, he's a friend of the show and in the thread. Jermaine Brown, one of Ilko was up in here tonight. That's all right. Crystal Bodie, love is love. Let me make sure. Andrea, I think we got everybody tonight. Lachelle, yeah, a lot of people jumping tonight. Thank y'all. 25 times. Kelly, if I didn't say her earlier. Oh, Jenny. Yo, this thing keeps coming. Yo, I'm shocked. All these people was up here. I think I got everybody. Okay, let's stop. Okay, so I just wanted to shout out.
Look at Jessica, man. I love Dr. Phil, but this is better.
Oh, Dr. Phil had a show about reparations day before Monday, maybe. Kelly. I got to go back and watch it. I didn't get to watch
that on my list. Really?
But he had lots of
about reparations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was
Check it
in
out.
here and TV's in there, and I had it on. I was kind of half listening, but I got to go back and watch it.
Oh, I'm gonna check that
Yeah, I
out.
It's
gotta
got some
watch
good
it.
content.
Yeah.
Let me check that out.
Whatever happened with that thing in San Francisco, man? They talked about was going through the legislating about giving the people, the residents,
The
a
5
certain amount of
million.
money.
Oh, it's still up for vote. I think it hasn't been voted on yet, or I don't
Okay.
even think it's been put on the floor to vote for. I think it was a future state discussion that was going on,
Yeah,
and the
like a
San
panel to
Francisco
come up there.
right, the San Francisco NAACP was just like, no, that's not what we want. We don't think that's the best
Yes.
thing to do. So that's how I bubbled up to the top because they commented on some shit that's not even real yet. So
Wow.
Okay.
What is that?
Reparations.
You know
Wonder
what
how
that
that would go. But
what is
we'll
wrong
see.
with my robe, Perry? And did you have to tell everybody that it was a robe?
Oh,
You
he was giving you the
motherfucker.
business. I didn't know he was slapping on. Yo, Perry's mean, man. Perry,
I was comfy and cozy in my room. I just finished watching the Mandalorian finale.
oh
And
shoot, that's my man Keith Haring. That's a Keith Haring role.
mm-mm.
That's not Keith Haring art design.
That's Pablo. What's his name? Pablo
Escobar.
something. No,
Oh, that's what's
but
up, Jessica.
yeah.
Cocaine Cowboys. Oh boy, man. I'll tell you.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
Yo, let me ask y'all something real quick. Oh, what and this might I ain't gonna turn into a crazy discussion. Yo, this just
Oh man, won't talk about Snowfall yet. Don't talk about nothing Snowfall. Nothing.
Oh yeah, I never watched.
Oh, John Majors.
Let this man ask his question.
Yeah, the dude. I don't even know his name. The guy that plays in Creed that got the domestic violence stuff. Then it looked like it got cleared up, and then I just saw somewhere they all started dropping them.
They just, what happened? Well, a lot. Apparently, there are other alleged recipients of his abuse, victims. Who are now connecting with the DA that's over that case. Those charges were not dropped. He still has to go to court May 8th.
Yeah.
So whatever magical thing his lawyer said that he had, we'll see. But if I get arrested for right, but if I get arrested for choking the dude out or attempting, he says I choked him out, and the cops come and get me, and they believe him and not me, so they arrest me, right? I do bail and shit to get out, and then we find a video that exonerates me.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have to go to court. Like a lot of shit's just not adding up to me.
Now, though.
Exactly.
No, but I'm saying if you don't go to court, where else where you gonna show the video at?
You show it to the police to show that he's the one that beat me.
Yeah, but they already locked you up. They ain't gonna unlock you up now. What? I mean, at the scene of the crime, but once they locked them up and charged them, then they find video evidence. They're gonna have to wait to court now.
What happened in the video? I'm unfamiliar with that.
Nobody knows. The lawyer says that there's video evidence.
They said there's video proving that it never happened.
Right.
Yo, you know what? You know what made me think that at first I thought maybe it didn't really happen is because like how fast she recanted. Not that she recanted, but it's almost immediately. And I was like,
business to me.
What'd you say?
Nothing adds up. And I know we don't know everything, but the shit just doesn't sound right. It stinks. And I'm sad because I really wanted to see those Kang movies. Like I really wanted to see those Kang.
Oh, well, see what movies?
Kang, because he's playing Kang the Conqueror. I am an MCU fan. And so he's been presented as Kang the Conqueror, which is like a super villain in the MCU. So he was supposed to be Marvel Cinematic Universe. So he was supposed to be like their whole 2025
Uh,
movies and shows and stuff, but
Wow. Yeah,
I guess they'll have to just replace him. Today, the role of Kang will
you
be
know,
played
if he
by.
did it, unfortunately,
Right, yeah. If he did it, he's out.
you just have to. You just sorry, bye.
I just
You know,
thought because she
but he
recanted so
didn't do it.
fast, I thought like, dang, maybe because you know what I was looking at. I was like, you know, a lot of times female recant and stuff, you know, especially when there's something on the table to recant. But I just was thinking maybe that, you know, because she recanted like almost immediately, I was like, man, I can't see them having calmed her down. Yo, come on, man, don't do this. Drop the charges. We're gonna pay you this
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. It wasn't
I
enough
can't
time,
see.
right? Yeah,
Well, I mean, I can't see that happening within 24 hours, and especially
yeah.
a angry female that you really just beat her ass and she called the cops on you. I can't
Right.
see her coming down within
Well, the
24
way
hours.
he originally
You know what I'm
explained it was
saying?
that she was having a
Nah,
mental
nah.
health crisis.
Look at Tracy. Yo, Tracy, I am not a movie watcher at all. The only comic book movie I've ever seen was Black Panther.
Charles, you were
Yo,
the knower of knowing.
I didn't know. I haven't seen no Marvel movies really. I've
No,
never
but in
seen.
general, Tracy called you the knower of knowing. That is
Well, I
hilarious.
mean, hey, I got a little bit of knowledge about different things, except movie. I don't know none of that Hollywood stuff. I don't know. I don't know the actor's name. I don't even know this dude's name. I know he playing Creed. But I
Jonathan
don't know his
Majors. Jonathan Majors.
name. Yeah.
Jonathan Major. And he's from
Mhm.
he did a lot of his studying in North Carolina.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
mistaken.
But I knew it was the
Well, we'll
dude from
see.
Creed. But nah, I'm not a movie watcher at all. At
I
all.
did see an Instagram video of him ringing some Tibetan um bowl bells, but I guess that shit just doesn't work.
He was doing what?
Jesus Christ.
What he was doing?
Ringing the Tibetan like the meditation. Bong, bong,
Oops.
bong.
Damn, my
Guess
screen
that
is
shit don't work.
Yeah, that's I tell you, that's another thing, man, with that domestic stuff, man. That sexual allegations and them domestic allegations, man, something else, man.
Allegations will ruin your life apart. You could have been 400 miles away from that person, but if the right person, again, alleges that you did such and such, and they have something that looks closely resembles proof, they're fucking, your life is done.
What about
Yo,
me?
and they should have a time
men.
limit in which people could, you know, I don't like, and you know what I don't like? I don't like when, you know, it always is like all these females come out of nowhere, man, always 10, 12 years later and stuff, man. It just, like when that happens, I mean, I know why sometimes it happens, but sometimes it's just like, sometimes to me, it make it harder to believe, you know, because it's like,
Well, I can see both sides. Like where there's smoke, there's fire, right? It's not like
or no, I mean, because you figure,
anything is bound to happen, but it's not like 10 women are gonna get together and tell that don't have any other connection and tell similar stories about what this one person did to them.
yeah,
There are predators out there, male and female.
Absolutely.
There are predators out there.
there's
But I
gold
get
diggers
what
out
you're
there too.
saying. I get what you're saying, but once like this one's in Seattle and this one's down here and this one's they're all over the place. They don't have any connection. But when something like this happens and it bubbles up to the surface, it definitely makes those victims feel like they're not alone. And that's when they begin to speak out. Like who the fuck's gonna believe me, or it really didn't matter.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll be wondering like if there's stories and what they said or whatever, because what you also know now is that, you know, I mean, it's a more interesting story, and I'm in a better position now that he's famous or now that he's this to tell my story versus 10 years ago when it was like,
when he was
and a dude definitely might have a similar pattern of behavior, but that pattern of behavior might be more leaving them emotionally affected than physically, and then there's allegations of physical things when it might have been more emotional.
Well, the DA is not gonna really care about emotional abuse.
Exactly. That's what I'm
So
saying.
these new the
But
supposedly
but how do you
new
say
victims
what?
or
So
old
what
new
is your
victims.
thing? But we're not talking sexual stuff here. What are you going to tell? But what are you telling somebody? I punched you 12 years ago. Well,
Exactly. And
okay, so
and I don't think that that's not to it is helping the DA build a case in this current case because statute of limitations is that for that is over. But these
yeah,
are
so
anti-character witnesses.
all now it becomes is if if it's deserved, it's deserved. Let me say that. But if it's not deserved, all it becomes now is a character assassination. And
It's
that
not an
can and
assassination
I
if
can
you did it. Like
but
it's assassin it's character suicide if you're going around punching enough women to help the DA make a case for a woman you just punched. Like keep your fucking hands to yourself. But the DA's
if
not going
that
to worry
happens,
about, oh well, he cheated on me and then he mushed me in the face. That might be, but if he has a pattern of physical violence, then that helps the DA prosecute him on this current case. And I'm saying all this allegedly because again, I hope this
yeah.
dude's not guilty because I want to see my fucking Kang movie.
No, but this is what I'm saying. So that's my whole point. What does if there's without any physical evidence, photographic evidence, or
They may have that. There were cell phones
eyewitness?
10 years ago.
No, I'm not saying they don't have them. I'm just saying what
Yeah, Tracy, that too.
yeah, what is it outside of yeah, it's like how did you
Because this
establish that
dude
even happened?
allegedly, this dude abused me 12 years ago. I thought I was the only person. It turns out that I'm not. Now I want to talk to my other abused sisters and get him put where he needs to be put.
Well, my thing would be how does that person from 12 years ago establish that outside of character assassination or character revelation? How does that person establish that occurred? How
So
that's what
women
I'm
that were
saying. How would
abused
they
years
establish it?
ago and they were embarrassed or scared to speak up should just shut the fuck up if it's 7
I mean,
years.
if that's what you're telling
What's
them
the
to
time?
do, that's
What's the
not what I
time
told them
window?
to do.
What's
No,
the
that's
time
what you
window?
just said. That's what
What's
you
the time
just said.
window?
I didn't say that.
I'm explaining to you what it is.
I asked you, how do you establish that with evidence, not how you
But
telling me.
sometimes that
You just told me you got. I'm asking you, how do you establish that?
it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
I didn't say
Because you
that.
I know, but I'm saying
I
to
didn't
you.
say that. So,
Sometimes-
but I've asked that
sometimes-
question twice now, and nobody's answered it.
there
Everybody
could be
said
a myriad of
something
evidence. They
but-
could have
but-
pictures. I've had my cell
that's what
phone.
I'm
I've
asking
had
you.
a cell phone
How
10
does
years.
a person?
Pictures,
So I
text
said,
message
hold on a minute. Hold on
exchanges,
one second. I said,
emails,
absent if
videos.
you coming forward 12 years later, my question was, I said, absent any physical evidence, it's either character assassination or character revelation. But how do you establish through evidence that someone actually punched you 12 years ago
You
outside of
said
you just saying?
absence of evidence with evidence.
No, I said absence of physical evidence. You are
Okay.
either coming and telling your story, which either is a character assassination story or a character revelation story. I'm either lying about this person or I'm revealing something. But I'm saying for a DA to take that, how does he establish that outside of trying to do it for character purposes? That's what I'm saying. How does he establish through evidence that this occurred?
Yeah, sometimes there probably isn't any evidence, and it probably would be hard to establish what you're saying based on evidence being put in, whatever. But I think this sort of leads to why it's such a slippery slope and why it's awkward, because it's not like this shit doesn't happen. It's not like there's not predators out there and doing all kinds of crazy things to little girls, to women, hell, to men and little boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's not happening.
Right.
And so just because at this point in life, there's no evidence,
Or they might not have had evidence back then. Like, it doesn't make.
it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. I think, to your point, maybe this is part of the reason why there's a percentage of women and men that probably never say anything because they're like, nobody's going to believe me. I didn't do this at the time. You got situations in real time where women get sexually molested or raped or whatever. And I'm talking about now. And they don't say nothing. Mm-hmm. They don't say a thing. And then somebody has to like convince them. And then you might not have a situation where somebody saved the damn dress with the sperm on it or whatever the hell is going on with the president. I'm just saying.
With that being said, you know what we also have?
What?
You know what we also have? We have cases upon cases of recanted statements, people getting locked up for rapes they didn't commit. So we have, so hold on a second. So we have both sides of that. I agree. Okay. So that is why it's even more important. I'm saying, like, all of us got a feeling about raping women, beating women. All of us have a feeling about that. But those allegations get thrown around so falsely as they do accurately. That's why I'm saying, like, when it comes to situations like that, if I'm wrong for one in evidence, let me see something, because I know how quick a chick can lie and say a dude did something that he didn't, especially when you know it's going to get her ahead. And I know that there's a lot of dudes out there that's doing crazy shit to these women. And it's going on both sides. So to just sit here and be like, no, it don't matter what the evidence is. She said it happened. Not at all.
No. That's not what we said at all.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. It's slippery. It's literally slippery. We're talking about something right now that's you know, and I've been on both sides. I've never been accused of rape or no crazy shit like that. Please let me say that. But I'll be damned if a woman hasn't lied on me. I mean, straight up lied. Like, and I'm like, dude, like I was literally in North Carolina.
Yeah,
I wasn't
but
even.
That's a single woman and a single you. Normally, in those cases, it's a single woman lying on a single man or a single group of men. What is brewing right here in this particular Jonathan Major situation is a bunch of unrelated women telling the same story about the same single person. The DA is trying to establish a pattern to convict him for this current, most recent thing. So I definitely get what you're saying. And yes, women lie on men all the time. And it ain't even got to be, and men lie on women too. But we've seen women lie on men for no other reason than pettiness.
Right.
And wanting to prove a certain point, whatever that is, right? And that takes that man through a whole lot of changes that are unnecessary. I get that. However, when you have a situation like this, again, when something like this about someone bubbles up to the surface, yes, it's daunting and it's kind of like, But if none of these women are related and they don't know each other and they're far reaches of the wherevers and are now feeling comfortable coming out of the woodwork because of this one case, then dude's got a problem. And it's hard to distinguish that because of what you said. It is definitely hard to distinguish. And some of the shit may have happened decades ago. There's not going to be any evidence. But if most of these I watch a lot of Matlock, Perry Mason, SVU, but most of these predators have a pattern. They operate the same way almost in all of the situations. So there is truth to that. There's truth in that. If allegedly that is what happened.
That's what I was going to ask about witness statements and when things could be corroborated. And sometimes, I mean, I don't know. I hate that we go through this, but it's something that we're going to have to continuously push through. Because I look at it this way, you know, Charles, you got a daughter. I have my daughters that are my adopted daughters, but they're my daughters. I can't put in my brain somebody harming one of them. My sons, can't put in my brain somebody harming one of them. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't change the fact that things happen and sometimes people are just so ashamed or they don't know what to do or they freak the frig out. They don't say anything. And, you know, I'm quite sure growing up, there was some creeps around us, meaning people that we went to high school with or whatever that was doing all. Now, none of my crew, you know, we didn't have none of that, but it was also understood in my crew. You better not put your hands on a woman like that. Like we didn't have to say it amongst one another. It was just one of our understandings amongst one another. Because things could be different. I'm gonna say.
Let me ask y'all a question. Have y'all watched? Netflix is doing a good job at this new genre of documentaries where it's like first person telling the story, except for if the person's dead. But they have a series called I Am a Stalker. It's like episode 7, 8, or 9. It's this regular ass looking dude, our age, from Texas. He was a youth pastor in his church, and he stalked the shit out of this woman. Like he's just, and I'm looking at that, and me and my sister are looking at it, and we were like, we know 10 guys that look just like this guy. Regular old guys. You see that, Jessica? Regular old guys. He was nuts, and he's still in prison in Texas for stalking this woman. He used to do stuff like sexual stuff on her porch and stuff. She had to move out of her house. He broke her windows out. Like, and you would and the crazy thing at the end of the episode, I think he probably is out of jail now, but at the end of the episode, it was talking about how the people in his church still supported him and they still loved him. And they came to visit him when he was in prison because they didn't believe that he would do such things. Like, I want y'all to watch that episode and then we can talk about it later. But it is just amazing how he was just like everybody else that in there was an AKA, she was the DA, she became the judge. This went on for like 3 years. She became the judge and she actually saw a pattern because there had been a couple of other cases that she had tried and he was one of them. And he did the same thing for, I think, the last girlfriend and the girlfriend before that. So there was a pattern. He operated the exact same way for each one, but everyone else in his life had no idea that this is what he was doing. It's a crazy, crazy episode. It's a crazy episode.
You know,
the rest of them were crazy too, but that one just kind of hit home because I was like, yo, this looked like dude, be at the cigar bar or be here or be there.
Why not talking about Steven Tyler? He tried to have kill his son.
Because we're talking about Jonathan.
I didn't know nothing about it. So when you ask why we're not talking about it, you should start, brother side. You should start it with, have you heard? Because I don't even know nothing about that. That's crazy. She is suing him. He's saying that it was in the past and it should be thrown out. Well, let me tell y'all something. There's a dude that got like natural life in Raleigh. And this is a dude I know. Used to be a Plum Crazies. He was one of the guys that hung out, And he did some mess like that. Pregnant kid, a child, baby. He had natural life. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Feel nothing for him. Feel nothing. I don't. Matter of fact, you would think I never knew him because when I found out what he did, just some things, people say forgive.
I ain't got to.
What am I supposed to like? What am I supposed to give about a grown ass, nasty ass man sleeping with a child?
I'm good on that. I don't have to forgive.
I mean, and
my heart is just fine.
Got caught through DNA evidence when the parents was like trying to figure out how their child that wasn't even 13 pregnant, and they waited for that baby to come, and then they did what they had to do, and they found out it was him. If you have that type of issues, you need, I can't say seek that type of help. I don't know what the hell to tell you. Leave the kids alone.
That ain't. Well, how did we get here?
Yeah, because of damn Charles. Charles will do this. Another thing.
How did we get here?
Well, let me. I'm gonna keep it 100. We could be ready to close the show, and in our early days, we'd have 3-hour shows because at 1 hour and 28 minutes, we about to close it up. Charles would start something or say something or be in a heavy.
He did that. He got me. It's my fault. It's my fault. He got me.
Brother Saeed, I'm unfamiliar with that. I'm unfamiliar with that. And it's, and just like look what Perry said, the generation before us was good for hiding that. That's a fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Listen, I know about 3 people who just found out they have brothers and sisters their same age. So, yes, Perry, they were.
I said, now the new generations, they don't even hide it.
They don't.
No, we just all together.
And that's the thing, Brother Saeed, and I know we're going to close out soon because we read the credits and everything, and we're still on here, but we're privileged to have another wonderful guest, and I'm glad that you took some time to even come and chop it up with us.
Thanks for having me. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Brother Saeed, I can't imagine, but there are a lot of women that I know personally that have openly revealed things that have happened to them 20 and 30 years ago, and you can't measure their trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side of that, I know grown men, some of my family brothers, like not my blood family, but when I say my brothers, like my brothers that are dealing with now in their late 40s and 50s, things that was done to them when they were children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they carried it for all these years. And I'm just saying, like, just all around, like, what makes you decent? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes you moral? And the same way we're talking earlier about, action, reaction. If you put your hands on somebody, you do shit like that. Excuse my language, because in case my cousin Paul sees it, I gotta throw money in the
Oh, sorry, cousin Paul. I have a potty mouth.
No. Please listen. So does Charles. Like, next level. Like, Charles has set the bar so high that there was nothing you said today that's going to disturb anything. You heard Charles say openly, like, yo, if you do da-da-da, if you 16, I'm knocking you out. He said stuff like, it's the thing is, we know he means it. So it's like,
fuck that. Put your hands on me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Keep my hand
Thank you, Steven.
And make sure, Steve, like straight to tape.
Oh, so then hold on. Damn, you know what? Look at this. See, this kind of conversation.
It is past my bedtime.
Yeah.
Okay?
This sounds fun.
But
you know what? We'll do a show on that and invite you back. We'll do a show on that. And Saeed, if you want to come, and Keisha, if you want to come tackle this, because that grooming stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not. Yeah.
Dev, and when we come back next week, I want you to come back this topic, and then add the Marcus Houston situation along.
Oh wow.
On this.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be willing to? If you got time, will you be willing to tackle something like that? Because I know that's a heavy one, Keish.
No, that's not my type of height. I don't be like. This is how I live my life, and crazy shit happens all the time. I don't be trying to understand why crazy people do what they do. I really don't. Like this situation we talked about today with the teacher, that's not crazy. That is base instinct, right? Most people would have reacted the way. But as far as why people do sick, nasty, crazy shit, I don't try to wrap my brain around that. I just try to do whatever I can within my little bubble to protect those around me from that kind of thing. But I don't try to that's not. Nope. Thanks, though.
Yo, listen.
You ain't playing FBI profiler?
No, I don't watch those type of shows. Matlock didn't really do a whole lot of that.
Oh, you didn't say Matlock. I actually started with Quincy with my grandmother.
Oh, really?
That's why I wanted to be a forensic pathologist. Until one of my brother's sisters said, the spirit stays around the body for 24 hours. I was like 16. I was like, I freaked out. I grew up in the church, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I freaked out, and then she changed my life with one statement. But listen, we are going to say goodnight to the people. Much love and respect. Thank you all for chiming in.
Bye.